If you're scared right now because the market's crashing or there's uncertainty in the market, good. But guess what? The rich aren't scared, they're excited because this is how they get richer every single time. Most people lose everything when the market crashes, but the rich, they've been ready. When I say they've been ready, they plan for this. They understand this. They know the ups and the downs of the market. They know what is going to happen before it happens and they prepare. Most of America does not prepare. Most of the world does not prepare. And that is why they feel it more than anybody else, while the rich get ready for all of this problems to happen and then take advantage of it when it does. Most people lose everything in the downturns because they aren't ready. The rich, they planned for this. They didn't just get lucky. They knew this was coming and they were prepared. So why do the rich get richer during market crashes? Because they're waiting for this to happen. They've been sitting on piles, stockpiles of cash, ready to pounce when something like this happens. And it happens over and over and over again. Real estate, stocks, companies constantly grow and then crash. And when they crash, wealthy people are sitting on cash so that they can buy them at a discount. They don't see a market downturn. They don't see panic. They don't see the problem. They see a clearance sale. And this is why they're ready. Right, when all the world is panicking and there's blood in the streets, which is a famous line that you buy when there's blood in the streets, that's when you buy. However, most people panic and they sell. They have losses and they're scared and they sell. It's important for you not to sell. There are other options out there for you where you don't have to sell your stocks or sell your real estate or sell your business, but you can actually improve them and make sure you just cut your losses and never lose money again. But you won't know this unless you understand financial products and services, and this is something that's not taught. Whereas the wealthy pass on this knowledge generation after generation. They keep it in their family. The Rockefellers, the Morgans, the Waltons, right? Every single one of Sam Walton, who's the founder of Walmart, all of his grandchildren are billionaires and they didn't even do anything. But it's because they pass on generational wealth. The Rockefellers are the same way. However, the Vanderbilts, for example, they did a good job over a few generations, but then it just takes one bad apple, one bad family member that ends up spending the family legacy to change that. And so you want to understand what the wealthy families that have been wealthy for generations do so that you can start doing that for yourself. And when market downturns happen, like they've been happening recently, whether that's a crash, a correction, or any sort of uncertain times, that way you know what to do and you're prepared. And there's a few simple things that wealthy people do when these situations happen that you can take advantage of today. So how can you protect your money right now? You can't time the market. Nobody can time the market. You can look for signs that are going out there. So you got to be conscious and you got to understand what's going on a macro and microeconomic level so that you can see the signs and start getting positioned now. And so for that purpose, I'm going to give you 5 rules that you can implement right here, right now, so that you can be more prepared than anybody else around you. Rule number 1 is cash. Get heavy in cash. Liquidity is key. Now, I don't always say that because the Federal Reserve is printing so much money that the value of a dollar is going down. However, the value of a dollar is going down less than a market downturn will. And so sitting on cash will allow you to be able to buy when everything goes on clearance. And it doesn't have to be cash in dollar bills. It doesn't have to be cash in the bank. It can be cash in other places, but you need liquidity. That's really the key. And you want to be able to buy fast because you never know when a bidding war is going to start. You never know when you need to come down hard, which is what it's called in real estate. You got to put some cash on the table and say, I'm a serious player. This is what I'm doing. And I'm going to be the person to buy this property or buy this business or buy this asset. And all the time in business, speed wins. Rule number 2 is to hold real assets. What are real assets? Anything you can touch, anything that has inherent value. Real estate, gold, silver. You want to be able to have real assets that have value because those things can be traded, those things can be sold, those things can be liquidated quickly so you can pour more into rule number 1 and have more liquidity in your portfolio. Rule number 3 is to build safety nets. My number 1 safety net is cash value life insurance. Guaranteed whole life insurance, not universal life insurance that's tied to the market, not variable life insurance that goes up and down because your cash value is actually invested in the stock market. We're talking about simple, easy, steady, guaranteed cash value whole life insurance. Rule number 4 is to use guaranteed tools. There's really not a lot of things that you can utilize that are guaranteed, but 3 other instruments that you can utilize or vehicles are CDs at the bank, although you'll have to pay taxes on the growth, fixed annuities, which are fixed every single year for typically a 1, 3, or 5-year period of time, depending on the annuity that you get, and indexed annuities, which anywhere between 0 and usually 12 to 15% would be a cap of an indexed annuity, but no matter what, you're guaranteed never to have any losses as long as you don't have any riders that have fees attached to them. And rule number 5, which is one of the oldest rules in the books, is to position yourself in a bond portfolio. High yield corporate bonds are good in times like this. You can also just have the 10-year treasury. Typically, and it's not always the case, but when interest rates go down, bond rates go up. And so you want to understand that on an economic level, but it's not always that case. So still be safe, consult with a financial advisor, consult with somebody that knows what the process is and follow what the wealthy people are doing so that you can set yourself up for success. Ultimately, you don't want to wait until a crash to prepare, but you prepare ahead of time. You want to build your defense. You want to build your moat. Every castle has a moat. It is the area around the castle that protects the castle. And you want to do that with your finances. We all heard that defense wins championships. You want to have your defense set in place. You want to be able to know that you can protect your money and that you are prepared, because if you build a good defense now while you're preparing, then when the market crash or uncertain times come about, then you'll be able to take advantage and your offense will be able to lead you to the finish line. So right now, get your liquidity up. Sell any assets that have value that you don't want so you can have more cash. Be able to look around your house, look around your business, look around your stuff and see what can I sell so I can sit on some cash right now, because the opportunities are going to come. So take advantage of them and remember that the next big opportunity comes when the crash happens, because the best time to buy is when there's blood in the streets.